Snowden case. The NSA is now informing Congress the accused NSA leaker gained access to at least some of the classified documents when a coworker let Snowden use his personal login. The civilian employee has since resigned. Snowden has denied all of this, in his previous interviews. Let's bring in our legal panel. We've got Brian Claypool, defense attorney, and Tad Nelson, former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney. Brian and Tad, welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you both here today.
Hey, Martha.
Hey there. So, Brian, let me start with you on this, because as we said, Edward Snowden has denied all along that anyone helped him to gain these passwords. And yet we are starting to learn, as a result of some of what an agency memo that was originally obtained by NBC News basically says that he tricked someone into putting their password into his computer, and because of his own knowledge of the systems, was able to take it from there.
Well, I wouldn't go along with this. He tricked one of the employees. The NSA needs to spend less time monitoring your phone calls, my phone calls, and random phone calls, and more time vetting its employees, supervising its employees, training properly its employees, and disciplining its employees. I mean, if Edward Snowden had told that employee, hey, can you type in your credit card number on my computer as well, would the employee have done that? What's most disturbing here, Martha, is how casually the NSA is handling this. This employee should have been fired, number one, and there should have been some kind of criminal investigation to see whether there was any conspiracy between this employee and Mr. Snowden.
It is shocking, Tad. I mean, we also have information that an active duty member of the U.S. military and a contractor have also lost their security clearances as part of this investigation as well. So, you know, and I remember Patrick Leahy back in December 11th was railing at the NSA in a congressional hearing, saying, where are the heads rolling in this story? Who has been fired? Who's been held accountable for the fact that this guy was able to access all this information? What do you think?
Well, the bottom line here, Martha, is that, I mean, the NSA is in a state of chaos. I mean, whatever's going on there, there's nobody watching what's going on. But as far as Snowden here, I mean, you got to wonder what his involvement is here. Nobody in their right mind would hand over a password. And how does they use words like he bamboozled them, manipulated them, tricked them? It makes no sense. And here's the thing that gets me thinking. You know, the fear of what Eric Snowden caused, I mean, around the world, he's a hero. He's a guy that put an end to this. And in this country, he was starting to get a little momentum. I'm not going to rush to judge on this. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to wait till the facts actually come out before I start believing this. Yeah, there's been some people fired, but we haven't really had any substantial evidence that this is actually what happened. It just doesn't make sense to me that he could trick somebody into getting a multi-level password. It just doesn't smell right. It just doesn't smell right.
Snowden, let's go back to you, Brian, in terms of where all of this goes from here. And what you both are clearly putting out there is that you think that the NSA is a mess. And this is an incredibly important security entity. You know, to say that they need to get their ducks in a row is an understatement. But, you know, what do you think about how should these people be treated, in your opinion, Brian? I mean, you know, so far they seem to have slipped under the radar and lost their security clearance.
Well, Martha, here's a bigger problem that scares me. If this employee does not have an adverse document in his or her personnel file, in other words, he or she wasn't fired. So this person could conceivably apply for another job in another government agency, and if that agency tried to access the personnel file, there'd be nothing in there because the NSA allowed this individual to resign. I cannot believe how casual that was handled. There needs to be stricter rules.
These people need to be brought before a panel. They need to be questioned about what they knew and why they would have allowed Edward Snowden, who, you know, initially had a very low security clearance, to get access to these documents that he had, and whether or not they were in on it is another big question, and how much they wanted to release this information as well. So huge questions. This is a very explosive report that has come out here, and a lot more digging is required. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Good to have you both here. Tad and Brian, thanks so much.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.